So in this video I'm going to take you through my 3 best pieces of equipment I'd suggest you get for training at home. The lockdown situation in the UK has just been extended, so these 3 pieces of equipment will get you through this phase with some killer workouts to train the whole body, to burn body fat and also to build muscle. So piece of equipment number 1 is, as a minimum, one kettlebell. So this, for example, is 9 kilos, pretty heavy, heavyish. And what I would suggest you do is, if you can get a set, so you've got 2 that are matching weight. Probably about 9 kilos for guys is probably about right, but and you can get 1 heavier dumbbell, a kettlebell, if you wanted to, maybe like 20 kilos. But this is a hugely universal piece of kit you can do things with. So you can do things like full kettlebell swings. So again, it can be great to doing cardiovascular work and doing circuits, getting heart rate up and burning body fat. But it can also be used for doing curls and lots in terms of, like, from a muscle building side of things. So I'd highly suggest getting kettlebells. They're probably the most universal type of equipment you can do. Very functional, and I'd highly recommend them. So this is a bit of an old gem, it's an old Everlast one, 9 kilos, 20 pounds. But again, very, very good piece of kit. Anyone who's followed me for a while also know that I like to use these for stretching, because you can stick the handle in some juicy bits in your hips to get some hip release. So kettlebell would be equipment piece number 1 I would suggest you definitely get. It's affordable and not too expensive. Now, kit number 2, very, very basic. You're probably expecting this: dumbbells. Dumbbells, why? They're small, don't take up much space over a bar and load of plates. Weight-wise, obviously depends on your strength levels. For most guys, for the most bang for your buck, if you're going to get 1 set, I would suggest you're probably looking to get 7.5 kilos is probably about right, up to 8, 9. I wouldn't get much more than that, because if you want to try and do some isolated work, like bicep curls for example, reality is you don't want to be using a lot more weight than that. What I would focus on, for example, if we're using something like a dumbbell and we're trying to train chest, and then the weight's going to obviously be relatively light, we're using 8 to 10 kilos, is focusing on more like a giant set of different exercises back to back. Focus on things like slow negatives, slow concentrics, and think about how hard can we actually make this session using the equipment and the weight we have available. So think about, how can I challenge the muscle the most? How can I make this as difficult as possible, rather than trying to make it as easy as possible? So dumbbells would be my second piece of equipment I'd highly suggest you get for training at home. If you can I'd highly suggest getting the adjustable set of dumbbells. I know Muscle Nation have got a dope set that's coming out, and hopefully I'm getting some soon, so they would be well worth getting. And obviously then you can crank up the weights and change it depending on what exercise you're trying to do. Piece of equipment number 3, resistance bands. What resistance bands specifically? I would try to go with some handles on them. It gives you more control, and I would also try and get a set, for example, where you can add on additional bands so you can create more resistance. So for example, here I've got about another 5 sets of bands, and what you do, you just clip them all on, and it increases the resistance. So for certain exercises we're obviously stronger, and other exercises we're weaker. We can literally just add on more bands to create more resistance. The more bands we have on there, obviously the tougher the load will be. So get yourself some resistance bands, get the ones with handles I would suggest, and get the ones with extra bands that can be added on for resistance. So these are, again, very, very useful, very versatile. You can train the entire body with these, as you've seen from my lot of Instagram content, some of the other YouTube bits. So these are from Amazon, so very, very cheap. I think they're about £20, but very, very easy again to have at home. Small piece of equipment. So these are my 3 basic pieces of equipment I'd suggest you get. If you need any help on how to use any of this equipment, then drop me a comment below with any questions, or create some more content to do that. Or if you want a more hands-on approach with some training to try and create a bespoke training program around what we have available, hit the link below to apply with myself or one of the CJ coaching team. I hope you found the video helpful. Drop us a like and please share.